Welcome to the Pooch Parenting Podcast, a podcast for parents with dogs. I'm Michelle Stern, a certified professional dog trainer, mom, and former teacher. Living with kids and dogs at the same time can feel like a circus. I know because I lived it too. Join us as we interview a variety of experts and parents to discuss topics that will make parenting with dogs easier, safer, and less chaotic. Also, you can love living with your dog again. I'll always keep it real, which might even mean that you hear the messiness of life in the background on occasion, but at least you know you're not alone. In today's episode, I'm going to talk about dog safety for toddlers who won't stay in bed at night. So if you've got a toddler who's a little jack-in-the-box and gets out of bed multiple times a night, you probably can relate to what I'm about to be talking about here. Oftentimes, toddlers learn that they can climb out of their crib or they can get out of their toddler bed and they can go and look for you down the hall, in your room. Maybe you're on the sofa watching TV. And kids get out of bed for a variety of reasons. Sometimes it's just simply because they can. Sometimes they're not feeling well. They need to be comforted or nurtured. Maybe they're going through a developmental change, which is interrupting their sleep, and they need some extra comforting. Regardless of why your toddler is getting out of bed multiple times a night, if you are a family that lives with a dog, we need to ensure that the toddler and the dog never have any unsupervised interactions, especially while we're asleep, because we can't guarantee that each of them will make safe choices when they are around each other. And like I've talked about in many of my podcast episodes before, supervision involves an awake adult that is literally sitting between or within arm's reach of the dog and child at all times so that they can really ensure that they're getting along politely. Now, of course, if you can't supervise like this, that's totally fine because it's also not very practical if you need to get things done. So some suggestions that we can implement if you've got a dog and toddler living under the same roof would be some of these. So first of all, I would recommend that you definitely have a baby monitor in your toddler's room so that you can hear any shenanigans that might be happening if your toddler is getting up. And I also recommend putting a baby gate on the toddler's door so they can't necessarily leave their room. Now, I do understand that some toddlers are excellent at parkour and they can climb over baby gates without any trouble, and that's fine. There are other solutions for that as well. Some people just close a door and maybe put a childproof handle on that door. But if for safety that makes you nervous, I completely understand. I've even had some clients who have had to put a baby gate on top of a baby gate in a doorway to ensure that a dog doesn't get in or a child doesn't get out. But if that's not your jam, I totally understand that as well. And we still have some other options in front of us. Now, if your dog sleeps in a crate somewhere in the house, we need to make sure that your toddler doesn't have access to the dog in the crate while you're asleep. Sometimes toddlers will let the dog out of the crate or they will poke their fingers into the crate, and a dog who is sleeping generally doesn't take too well to being disturbed by babies in the middle of the night, and we can't be sure that your kiddo's fingers aren't going to be nipped. So I would recommend you put a pen around the crate or you put some kind of a baby gate in a section of the house that would prevent your toddler from getting access to whatever room of the house it is where the dog's crate is located. So maybe you simply have a baby gate in the hallway that allows your toddler to get to your room, but does not allow the toddler to get to where the dog is sleeping. Now, if your dog sleeps loose in the house, then it's especially important that we have some kind of a barrier that prevents your toddler from going on a scavenger hunt looking for the pup while you're asleep. Because some toddlers just want to play while they're awake, while others are really focused on coming to find their parents for comfort and soothing. Let's change gears here for a little bit, and I want to acknowledge that some families sleep with their toddlers, and that's fine too. There is a chance still that your toddler may get up in the middle of the night and may leave your bed for whatever reason. Maybe they need to go potty or they are looking for a glass of water. If your dog, again, is sleeping elsewhere in the house, we need to make sure that your toddler can't leave the bedroom and go find the dog. So again, you could keep your door closed or you can have a baby gate on that room. Now, here's the tricky part. If the dog and child are sleeping in the same room, maybe it's your bedroom, we really need to ensure that they cannot interact in the middle of the night. That means your dog should not be sleeping in your bed if the toddler is in your bed. I had a client just yesterday tell me how the dog was growling and snapping at the toddler who was kicking in the middle of the night and kicked the dog in the head. It was not a pleasant experience for anyone, but we need to ensure safety. And again, if you're asleep, you're not supervising. So I would encourage you to have the dog in a safe place at night. Maybe it's in a crate with a pen around it. Maybe it's in another room of the house with the door closed so the baby can't get to it. But it is important to consider that if your toddler is popping out of bed at night, that we make sure that the toddler can't explore throughout the house and that the dog is not loose where they can meet the toddler and they can have a late night party together, because you can never predict the consequences of interactions when you are not there. I hope this gives you something to think about, and if you have any questions about dog and child safety, especially during sleep or otherwise, don't hesitate to reach out. Hope you found this helpful. Take care. Thank you for listening to the Pooch Parenting Podcast. If you enjoyed today's show, please subscribe on your favorite podcast player and leave a review. But even better yet, tell a friend. Are you in some moms groups, perhaps? Or maybe you're friendly with your pediatrician. Please let them know that resources like this exist, because the information that I share with my people goes beyond what most baby books offer, and a lot of parents need support. You'd be doing them a favor. Thanks again. Have a great day.